Mr. LaHood.
Well, thank you for your fairness in conducting this hearing, Mr. Chairman. We appreciate it. Can I ask both of you gentlemen, were you shocked and surprised on 9/11 or 9/12, and after you began to learn about, I don't mean shocked from a personal point of view, but shocked at the news, who the people were, who was involved, how they did it, and particularly you, Mr. Berger, after just coming off of having worked in an administration in such a high-level position, and I know you worked very hard and spent a lot of hours on a lot of these activities. I'm wondering, though, when you read the details of what happened, were you surprised by any of it in terms of the people involved and how they did it and how they carried it off and the fact they were able to do it?
I was not surprised, Congressman, by who was responsible for a second. I was stunned by the magnitude of this, surprised by how they had used primitive, in a sense, instruments. This was not, we'd spent a lot of time on trying to anticipate weapons of mass destruction threats, trying to build up our stockpile of Cipro, trying to build up our smallpox vaccines, trying to get first responders training, beginning to anticipate a potential WMD attack. So I was not surprised by responsibility because I thought it was the only terrorist organization that had the capability of doing simultaneous activities like that. I was surprised by their ability to strike here as sharply as they did, and I suppose by their ability to take box cutters and airplanes and turn them into weapons of mass destruction, but not by responsibility.
Scowcroft, do you have any comments?
Yes, I was not surprised. I was horrified. I was surprised at the coordinated nature of the attack. That did surprise me. But I would say, you know, the safest place in the world for a terrorist is inside the United States. Because then he becomes a U.S. person with a lot of protections that we don't give him or anybody else outside. And so as long as they don't do something that trips them up against our laws, they can do pretty much all they want. So all you have to do is pick some people that are clean to start with, that don't have records, and they can do all these things. And so I think in a sense, what we are all surprised at, we have had this notion ever since really terrorism became a threat, that somehow the United States was immune. It was just too complicated for them to extend their organizations and to mount a sophisticated attack inside the United States. This was not actually very sophisticated, but it didn't really have to be, given the freedom with which they could operate, go in and out, back and forth.
Mr. Berger, were you surprised or shocked at the level of non-communication between and within agencies that were in the business of collecting intelligence and sharing it with the highest levels of our government?
I have been continually disappointed since 9/11, Congressman, just reading the newspapers about the difficulties of communication within agencies, from people in the field up, and the fact that there was inadequate sharing of information between agencies.
You think that was true during your stewardship?
Well, we tried to address the horizontal communication issue in a number of ways, and I think probably it was better, but it was not sufficient. We got all of the key players in a room 3 times a week, or sometimes every day, to go through all the threat information and to share it and talk about what to do about it, what more they needed to do. The FBI was there, the CIA was there, the Justice Department was there. Number one. Number two, we decided that an FBI person should be deputy at the CTC at CIA and vice versa. So we took steps to increase horizontal coordination, and I think it probably was better But it's clear that not everything was being put on the table.
Can I just stop you?
yeah.
Because I have one other question. Both of you have served in high public office, and both, I know Mr. Scowcroft has been on commissions. There's an idea floating around Washington and around Congress to establish a blue ribbon commission to look into what happened. I'd appreciate your thoughts on that idea.
I'm not sure we need a blue ribbon commission on what happened. I think we have a pretty good idea in general what happened and the kinds of questions that you're precisely responsible. I think we ought to start looking forward and fix the things we know need fixing, whether or not they were precisely responsible.
I don't know what my answer is to that question, Congressman. There obviously is a trade-off here between past and future. There's a trade-off between open and secret. I want to get at the answers. I want to fix things, whatever is the best way to do that.